If you're planning on having a myomectomy or you're wondering what it's going to be like post-surgery, then this video may be helpful to you. If you're new to this channel, my name is Shelley Fullerton and I'm a lifestyle vlogger. And if you're returning, thank you so much for rocking with me. I'm happy to be back on another sit-down video with you all. This time, I'm going to share in detail my experience with the open abdominal surgery. If you have been struggling with fibroids or you know someone who is, then this video is for you. Uterine fibroids are non-cancerous tumors that grow on the walls of your uterus or your womb. I am from the Caribbean and there seems to be a stigma attached when it comes to things like fertility and fibroids and polycystic ovary. That is because we're not all educated on the topic. I'm going to be talking about the myomectomy and all that you should expect before your surgery, during the recovery and after the surgery. There are a few questions that I'm going to answer because I did post for you guys to ask me anything in relation to my surgery. Much of you didn't, but thank you to Kosi and Gabby who really contributed towards this video, and then I know some of you in the background and hoping that I answer some of the questions that you have in your head, and I hope I touch on some of those. So let's begin. From the time of my diagnosis, fibroids was the main thing that I'll search for on the internet, trying to get all the information that I need as to why it grows. What I learned is that most women within the childbearing age, especially those of African descent, tend to have fibroids. There's a video that I posted of how I found out that I have fibroid. I'm gonna link it right here. From a routine check with a doctor, I realized that I have multiple fibroids and it was recommended that I do a surgery. And things really hit home to me when the doctor read all the risks. And with any surgery, they would usually tell you that the risk of death, your uterus can be damaged. If you have severe bleeding, they will have to remove the uterus and they can cut other organs that they're not supposed to cut. So I got scared. I almost want to cancel it. I called up a few doctors that I know and all of them have given me positive feedback. And by the way, a myomectomy, guys, is where they remove surgery from your uterus, leaving it intact for future pregnancy. And obviously I have no children and I wanted to have, and so I told them I'm doing a myomectomy, not a hysterectomy. A hysterectomy is where they remove the entire womb, the entire uterus. I remember at one time the doctor told me that there was a mask over my uterus and I was worried. So I wanted them to go in and see what it is, if there's anything they can catch on really quick. That really pushed me to have the surgery. I know that having multiple fibroids can cause complications in pregnancy. You want to go through carrying a baby for several months and then having to lose it. It was like a roller coaster for me the moment I knew that I was gonna have a surgery. So today marks 29 days in surgery. Usually they would give you 6 weeks of full recovery. The scarring would usually heal like 3 weeks before. Internally, you need that time to heal. Like I said, I was scared. I was nervous for that entire week. I was crying. I realized that this is something that I couldn't control. So I started to get myself into a place spiritually where I started listening to my gospel songs every day, every night. I believed in God and I didn't want to have no doubts in my mind, because once you pray and you ask God for something, you should believe that you receive it, and also according to His will. That if anything is to go wrong, it's the Lord's will. I even made out a will with all my information, everything, what I want to be done in case I'm no longer here. Send it to a family member who was gonna execute that. Thank God I'm still here, because the Lord is not done with me. He told me that I will need to get blood because you're always gonna bleed in these kind of major surgeries. You need to be prepared mentally and physically. If you don't have a high blood count, you need to eat things that will bring up your blood count. I changed my diet a little bit because my blood count was really good. Have you bring things like colon cleanser, which I would have mentioned in my video before, compression stockings. You need to have your stay free. That was basically my prep for the surgery. The morning of the surgery, I was the first. I was like, oh my God, it's me, this is it. So I got down into the theater and the anesthesiologist came, she talked to me. She was really nice. At first I didn't want to go to sleep. I wanted to do like a spinal anesthesia, but they said that it would take too long to recover and they don't want a backlog in the theater, so they gave me general anesthesia. I took 2 hours in surgery, went in with a blood count of 11 and came out with 8. They removed 4 fibroids on the outside, 7 small ones on the inside. They're giving me Zoladex to shrink the remainder, because Zoladex is something that will prevent my estrogen from being released, something that will shut down your ovaries, so you won't have that excess hormone in your body to spur the growth of the fibroids. And like several weeks later, I started feeling like I'm getting hot flashes. So they're like, now I'm feeling hot, I have to take off all my clothes, and then the next minute I'm feeling cold, I have to get dressed all over again. So it's like this up and down heat wave temperature change that I'm dealing with. When I got back up in the ward, I slept until somewhere in the evening. After surgery, they usually bring you into a ward that is opposite the nurse's station for closer observation. At one point, I feel like a big gush. Oh my God, I'm gonna bleed to death on this bed. And I was like, nurse, I think there's a big gush down this. No, it's not here. You want to see to ease your mind? I said yes. The next morning, the nurses came, they clean you off, wipe you off. I must say big shout out to these nurses for taking the job really serious and for loving what they do. Let me tell you, taking out that catheter, yes, it's a short process, but I felt every inch of that tube coming out. The first day after the surgery, they want you to get up and start moving around so that you can have that circulation in your leg and the blood flow and everything. And I didn't play to get up. First week getting up is a very hard task. You have to mentally think about getting up, and you just can't get up like you're accustomed to. You can't put any pressure on your abdominal walls. You have to turn on your side, use your hand a lot to push up and support yourself to get up. Coughing, laughing, sneezing, those things have become really difficult. Before you're discharged, you want to ensure that you can go to the bathroom to make sure that your organs are functioning. I went to the bathroom and it was pretty difficult. You must keep yourself hydrated. First day that I got up, I couldn't stand up, but because I've lost so much blood, I started to feel dizzy and very lightheaded. And they came back a few hours later to be like, the reason why you were lightheaded is because blood count was low, so we will give you iron transfusion. They even gave me a month's supply of iron tablet, which I'm still taking. The food that they gave me, I think it was macaroni. I look at that food and I was like, hell no, that's not going down in my body. A good friend of mine brought some pumpkin soup. I was basically going down on that soup with my eyes closed because I was so weak and so lightheaded. A friend held the bowl. All I could have done was just drink that soup. It's like I was starved. I couldn't even talk. I was just making actions like, because I was so weak. To keep you for 2 days in the hospital, and after your release, you need to make sure that you have a good support system, because the simple things that you used to do will become the most difficult. I'm thankful to the family that took me in for first week, which was the most critical time of my recovery. So I thank you so much for accepting me into your home. The team of doctors, which is the D unit at Mount Hope, I must say shout out to you all. What a wonderful team. You all took care of your patients. My overall health care experience was really good, and the doctors answered all my questions. If you don't ask, you don't know. So you as the patient have to make sure that you follow up with certain things, because we understand that the doctors are a bit overworked. The doctor talked to me about the things that they need to give me. When they discharged me, I didn't get all the things. So I had to go and ask like, hey, the doctor mentioned certain things and I don't have these things. There was this blood thinners I had to inject myself with, and I put the name somewhere here. I had my antibiotics, painkillers, and they woke me up after the surgery. The anesthesiologist was like, how are you? But I said, pain. That was the first thing. They gave me morphine. During the course of the day and the evening, the doctor kept coming and she was like, I'm giving you some pain medication. I'm not in any pain. And the doctor was like, you don't worry, you'll need this because the pain is going to come on. I did not feel the blunt of that pain because they managed it well. During the first week, I got a bad pain. I had to literally cradle my tummy. I felt like my whole tummy was falling Oh, held that tummy. I cried. Give me 2 sets of pain tablet. The paracetamol that is to take anytime I'm feeling sick. And then they give me another one, which I can't even recall. That one is for inflammation and pain. The paracetamol is to be taken anytime. So I did not take the paracetamol because I didn't want to camouflage the pain in case there was anything severe. To have comfort in sleeping, you need a lot of pillows. I think I'm feeling good. I'm feeling relieved to know that there wasn't anything else wrong. The fact that nothing has really happened to me, I am in a much better place. I'm just worried that now when I get pregnant, I'll have to have a C-section because the uterus has been breached with all those cuts and stitches. I would not be able to push, and your uterus is not able to function as it would. Thinking about going through that process all over again traumatizes me. Maybe traumatized is a strong word, but it bothers me. Some fibroids are symptomatic, some are asymptomatic. Mine were asymptomatic for a very long time. It's leading up to the surgery, I started bleeding a lot. I don't know when to expect a period. However, you can spot within the first month. Immediately after your surgery, you will bleed for a couple of days. It will be light, but it's not like your period. My routine these days are like sleep a lot, wake up, sleep, walking a lot, and making a lot of reels for my Instagram. Now I can sweep a little. When I have to go to the washing machine, I will carry just a few clothes. When they're finished washing, I could only take less than what I carry, put them on the line to dry. If I go to the market, I could only buy a few items, or if I buy a lot, I have to carry them in small bags. It's not more than 5 pounds, but I know I did carry more than 5 pounds. It is kind of hard to wear undergarments because the incision is right there. If you can wear loose clothing and stay away from the jeans, it's better for you. I would also want to recommend that you get a padding between the seat belt, that it doesn't press so hard against your tummy. I wish I knew before my surgery so I could have gotten myself. If you drop anything on the floor, you can't just bend and pick up the items. I used to use my toe and pick them up. Even putting on your clothes, it was difficult. Post surgery, you cannot really bathe for like 2 weeks. You can only wipe down. The only thing though is that I have this flap over the cut, like very hung over, and I think because the uterus is still swollen, so I'm still having a little numbness and pain under my navel. I can touch the area that has the cut. Fibroids can grow back within 3 months or 2 years. They may not grow back in the same spot, and especially if you had multiple fibroids. Once you're in the childbearing age, unless you do a hysterectomy. Don't know the reason why women have fibroids, but what sustains it is the estrogen hormone. With my fibroids return, I'm not going to do another surgery. That thing is a process and a whole roller coaster that I'm not willing to go through again. This thing is affecting your daily routine. I suggest, based on your health and your doctor's advice, you should probably try to find the best method that works for you, because there are different types of surgery that you can have. Week 3, I started to walk much better, started getting in and out of car much easier. I started to drive, no more throbbing pain, save for little nagging pain right under my tummy. I had to massage like my pubic bone area because somehow it helped, because it's like the pain was running straight down there. I know it's TMI, but with a little massage it kind of helped to ease the pain. During that 5 or 6 weeks recovery, I have 3 visits with the doctor. The first week was to have the dressing changed. The second week was for them to remove the stitches, which I did feel. And the third follow-up will be the 8th of March. I don't know what that follow-up is going to be about, but that's the clinic days I have. Going forward, I do have plans of adjusting my diet in terms of eating too much red meat, because I heard that the red meat as well contribute towards your fibroids returning, and I would really want to slow that process. Out of those several fibroids that they removed, one of them was like 5 centimeters. I hope this video was informative enough. As much as I can remember, I share with you. If there's anything that I left out, I'll just do a part 2. If you've made it this far, you are the real MVP. Until then, stay safe, cousins. Bye. Remember to watch these videos right here.
So yeah, I got a table for 2.